I'm remembering things that haven't happened yet.
We were chosen.
Oh dear, I watched a movie that makes me feel as though my brain doesn't belong to my body. It's a dumb movie, but it's not. It's weird because we were on a trip and my partner and I were listening to a very strange creepypasta that everyone in the comment section likened onto Jet Li's The One.
After this, there will be only one.
Apparently, I know, it was a long time ago I saw this movie, I was like a little kid, but from what I can remember about the premise, it was about this evil Jet Li going across dimensions and killing off other versions of himself, and every time one of those versions were killed, he became stronger, or the remaining Jet Lis became even stronger, thus making killing the other Jet Lis more of a challenge. By the time only 2 Jet Lis are left, they are basically equal strength. The story that we listened to, by the way, was done by, or at least read by Mr. Creeps. It's called I Think We Accidentally Built a Time Machine. It might have been the biggest mistake of our lives, and it was written by Mandark. If you want more stories by him that you want to read yourself, join him on Reddit. Anyway, the story was eerily just like that, and so my partner was like, hey, if you like this chaotic story where you don't know where anything is going on and everything's just freaking weird, and you just have to go along for the ride, then you might like John Dies at the End, a movie about a guy who's friends with another guy called John who doesn't die at the end. Like, really? Similar to how Mr. Robot starts off, Dave is in what looks like some kind of Asian restaurant. His name is Dave Wong. And of course, the first thing everyone is thinking is, but you're not Asian. Even though this guy does have heavily German or Swedish features, it's totally possible for someone in his family to have been Asian or Asian mixed with the last name Wong, married a female, she took his name, they had a mixed child with the last name Wong, that mixed person finds a white person, mates with them, still last name Wong, so on and so forth. Even though it is quite rare, it's not impossible.
My name is David Wong. I once saw a man's kidney grow tentacles, tear itself out of a ragged hole in his back and go slapping across my kitchen floor. But that's another story.
Okay, so right away the entire segment of the intro for this movie just had me like... So, as you can tell by now, this is not an ordinary story. We follow David as he perceives the world around him, which is honestly just a smorgasbord of chaotic happenings, but it seems to also center around his best friend, John, who the title is about. Oh yeah, and this guy, Marconi. Well, Dave goes to John's house and they meet this girl named Shelly.
This is Shelly. She needs our help.
Shelly is so freaking strange and claims she's being tortured by her ex-boyfriend even though he's been dead for a while.
Hear him.
He hits you?
Man, what a dick!
I like how she shows them the tiniest bandage you've ever seen, and they immediately jump to the conclusion that he hit her. There's not even any bruising around that area, the kind of bruising that you would see if someone hit you. For all we know, she put on that band-aid not even large enough to cover a freaking housefly and put a little makeup on it to make it seem as though he what? Stabbed her in the forehead with a pen? That doesn't really mean anything, but I guess this broad already knows that these idiots will fall for it. I mean, she never even answers the question as to whether or not he hit her. They check out the problem, then John, who kind of reminds me of Ian Somerhalder, says that this girl reminds him of Amy's friend Amber. And I mean, the movie was already strange to begin with, but then it starts getting even more strange.
You thought that she looked like Amber?
Yeah.
John, Amber's almost as tall as me. It's like just under 6 feet, blonde hair.
First of all, he said Shelly reminded him of Amber, so how does that automatically mean physically? Someone can remind you of someone else just for their personality, their smell, their eyes, the way they love animals. That was kind of shoehorned in, wasn't it?
Shelly, we're both seeing completely different versions of you. Now, John here has eyesight problems because of his constant masturbation.
And then the movie just constantly falls apart from here. From freaking meat demons, and again, a magical Jamaican man with a horrible Jamaican accent.
Dear dream man, I interpret dreams for a beer.
Sounds more Indian to me. We get a nice cute dog that pops in and out when it's convenient, multiple versions of the characters from the future, past, and wherever else, and just some of the weirdest shit you've ever seen. This movie makes you feel like you're flying through every week at the speed of fur. I had to go to the bathroom several times just to get the poison out. I mean, from the movie. It's the kind of movie that you watch imagine you'll still have a whole bunch of questions because clearly somebody came up with this as a creepypasta story, and if you were listening to it in a creepypasta sitting, it would probably be very enjoyable. But translated to movie format is just freaking confusing. This feels like a version of Bill and Ted, but with dimensions. This is not a masterpiece by the stretch, but you might enjoy it if you want your head to hurt because of stupidity. But yet, an interesting concept that somebody came up with that is actually a really interesting concept. Like, legitimately, an interesting concept that was just executed while they were freaking high. Anyways, you guys should go give it a watch. John dies at the end, and I just spoil it for you because he doesn't. Oh, wait, but he kind of does. Oh, shit. Wait a minute. Okay. You know what? I'm not even going to attempt to make sense of this. My nose is starting to close up. So on that note, I'm going to sniff some flowers and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.